All right, thank you, Greg. So good morning. I think we heard all analysts during this Finovate tell us about how hard it is to be a bank and adhere to all compliance rules, regulations, and experiment in the fintech space. We are Topicus, and Findu Lending is a platform that allows you to be compliant and confident and still provide new propositions for new markets, for consumer lending, mortgages, and SME finance. Now, of course, mortgages and consumer finance, that's all pretty easy. So today we'll focus on SME lending as an example of the power of our system. Findu Lending allows you to run all your rules and regulations from a central repository in all your channels, whether they're online, whether they're in the advisory network, or whether they are in those old branches that will probably still be around for the next 5 or 10 years. So let's suppose we have a customer called Corn Power, and Corn Power is growing. They're growing corn, but they're also growing as a company, and they're applying for a loan with our bank. Now, they have already applied the first information in the portal, so we are ready now to look at the loan from the mid-office perspective.
So what you see on the screen is Findu Lending, and I'm going to open the customer now. And firstly, Findu will show us the structure of the applicants. So we see an overview of all involved entities in the application. Furthermore, we see some details of the application, such as the finance amount. We can see it's $200,000 that's being requested by the customer. So on the background, Findu has done a lot of work importing financial figures digitally. These can be figures that we received from the credit bureau. For the companies that do not have financial figures available, we offer questionnaires, qualitative questionnaires, which can be analyzed using AI technology. If you combine all these factors, so we have the application, we have the financial figures, and the answers to the qualitative questions, on the background, Findu is also able to calculate a rating automatically. So we can continue to the financing solution, where we have an overview of the requested facilities by the customer. You see here 2 facilities that sum up to 200,000 euros.
Now, Findu allows for very complex structures here. So you can go all the way to project finance. So from one platform, you can support both simple SME loans, but also very complex, even project finance structures to make sure that you are running all your loans from one single platform called Findu.
So on this screen, we can easily adjust the financing solution if we wanted to, but because of the time, we'll just move on. Because if we would continue closing this deal, the customer needs to provide collateral. So in order to review that, we go to the collateral overview screen, where we can see the collateral that's being brought in by the client. We'll see here an overview, and it's listing the crops as the collateral for the loan application. So having reviewed this, we have seen the most basic factors that are all part of the credit application and that influence the pricing. So we can now continue to review the pricing that Findu has automatically determined based on your bank's rules and the information entered. First, we see here the rating for the customer. It has a AAA rating. If we continue to the interest rates, we can review the interest rate. We see here a 5.091% interest for the first loan.
Okay, so that's pretty high. We are now going to change a rule that adheres to the coverage ratio of those crops, and it will have impact on the pricing. Just to demonstrate a very simple change of a business rule and show you how it rolls through the entire system. Of course, we can also support very complex rules. If you want to see an example of that, please visit us as a booth later.
So in my role as a credit product lead, I'm authorized to make such changes in the system. So I'm going to open the system tables menu, where we define all settings the system works with, and we go to the collateral types. Here we will find the crop setting, and we see a recovery percentage for this type of collateral at 5%. Well, let's say our risk department has decided that we can increase this coverage percentage to 35%. I can adjust it here, just as easy as this. I save it. Well, usually I would have to go through a 4 eyes principle right now, because those changes I'm going to make are impacting the system and needs to be verified by a second person. But because of the demo purpose, we've removed that authorization for now. So we can now continue back to the application that we received from our client. If you go back to the pricing screen we were just reviewing, we'll see that Findo has automatically calculated the new pricing based on the changed coverage rate. So I click on the interest rates, and here we'll see the price is now 4.4%. That's lower than the 5.091% that we saw before, and it makes sense because we changed the coverage rate of the collateral that's being provided.
Okay, so we're all done now, and Findo will now automatically generate the credit letter, the pledges, create signatures for everybody who has to sign, etc., just like this. But of course, now we change the coverage ratio for crop, and that's of course not a safe thing to do so if we cannot be sure that we can actually recover a higher ratio. So how do we do that? Well, Findo is an open platform using APIs, and what we've done is that we've integrated a collateral monitoring system. And a new innovation is that we can monitor collateral based on satellite images, specifically crops. So if we open that now, we get an image of, in this case, Corn Power's crop-going land.
Yeah, Findo is able to use this external system that's using satellite images that are translated in actual data in its processes. So what we can see here, for example, is the growth stadium of the crop, as well as a flooding score and information about flooding to see if there's a chance of flooding in the area that the crops are located. All these figures can be used by the system to make decisions or to trigger actions.
Okay, so here you see that the new technology advantage is allowing us to change rules and regulations and policies in our system with just a couple of mouse clicks. Of course, you have to be sure that it adheres to your policies. But now in every channel that you support, online, offline, in branches, automatically this new coverage ratio is available with new pricing. So if you want to learn more about how Findo can help you be flexible at the front, please visit us at our booth. We are Topicus, and we're glad to meet you later on. Thank you very much.